History is supposed to tell us the truth, but what if some of the most famous wars weren't what we were told? Because the version you learnt in school, it's often simplified, clean, easy to understand. But real history doesn't work like that. It's messy, complicated, and sometimes uncomfortable. And when you look closer at some of the most famous wars in history, you start to notice something strange. The stories don't always match the reality, and the deeper you go, the more things stop adding up. These are wars history didn't fully explain. And what really happened might surprise you. The Trojan War is one of the most famous conflicts in history. It's often told as a story of love, Paris of Troy taking Helen from Greece, and in response, Greek armies launching a massive war to bring her back. But historians believe this version is incomplete. There's very little evidence that a single relationship caused a war of this scale. Instead, Troy sat in a powerful strategic position. It controlled access between the Aegean Sea and the Black Sea, a key trade route in the ancient world. And whoever controlled that route controlled wealth, which means this war may have been about something far more practical. Power, trade, control, not just love. The famous Trojan horse story? Some believe it may be symbolic, not literal. A reminder that even the most famous stories may not be entirely true. The American Civil War is often explained in simple terms. A conflict between North and South over slavery. And while that was a central issue, the reality was more complex. In the 1800s, the North and South had very different economies. The North was industrializing. The South relied heavily on agriculture. And those differences created tension. There were also political disagreements about states' rights and how much power the federal government should have. As new territories were added, the question became, would they allow slavery or not? These tensions built over decades until eventually conflict became unavoidable. A war shaped by multiple forces, not just one. The Crusades are often described as religious wars, Christian armies fighting to reclaim Holy Land. But religion wasn't the only factor. Many leaders saw opportunity, land, wealth, power. For some, it was a chance to expand influence. For others, a chance to gain status. And for many soldiers, it was survival. These wars lasted for centuries and involved multiple groups, not just two sides, making the conflict far more complicated than it's often portrayed. It wasn't just religion. It was politics, power, and ambition, all intertwined. The Vietnam War is one of the most debated conflicts in modern history. It's often explained as part of the Cold War, a fight against the spread of communism. But the events leading to escalation tell a different story. In 1964, reports claimed US ships were attacked in the Gulf of Tonkin. This led to a major increase in military involvement. But later, investigations raised serious questions. One of the reported attacks may not have happened at all. Despite this, troop numbers rapidly increased, from thousands to hundreds of thousands. The war became long and difficult, fought in dense jungles and unfamiliar terrain. Back home, public opinion began to shift. Protests grew, and questions increased. What started as a clear mission became one of the most controversial wars in history. And even today, people still debate what really happened and why. The Napoleonic Wars are often reduced to one man, Napoleon Bonaparte, a leader driven by ambition. But Europe was already unstable before he rose to power. The French Revolution had changed everything. Monarchies across Europe felt threatened. and alliances began forming. This wasn't just one man's war. It was a continent reacting to change. Fear, power, survival, all playing a role. Napoleon became the face of the conflict, but not the only cause, which makes the story far more complex than it first appears. By now, a pattern should be clear. History simplifies. Reality complicates. The stories we learn are often incomplete. That changes how we see the past. Because if history isn't the full story, what else are we missing? Maybe the truth is still being uncovered. History is more complicated than we're told.